Hello, good morning. How are you? Welcome to Color and Chat with Joanna. If this is your first time, I am Joanna. Hi, how you doing? If it's your first time, please like and subscribe and come join me. And won't cost you a single penny. I'm not after all of that. But I am out for fun, and I think we need to have a little bit more of it in life because things are getting a little dark lately. Anyway, I am working on City Nights, which is trying to find a bigger picture of it. I don't have one right now. But she is basically the New York skyline we have so far gotten. Let's get that ugly pool noodle out of the way. I know. Everybody's like, you gotta get a pool noodle. I was like, why do I need a pool noodle? And then I realized, no. It is the New York skyline, and then it has like a reflection of the water. It's all the rainbow colors. It's very, kind of a little late tribute to Pride. I'm running a little behind this year, you know. But the sentiment is there. And it kind of does two things, actually. It's going to do my tribute to Pride and also my tribute to 9/11. I am a New Yorker, and I do have a brother, and he was in my FD. Still is, well, retired. He survived the tragic day. But his crew was one of the first in. And a member of his crew was so cute and so terribly funny. I actually named my dog after him. My dog's name is Baby George Biscuit. It's like, wait a minute. There's no firefighter in New York named Baby George Biscuit. It's like, no, but there is a firefighter, and his name is Biscuit. And I'm going to tell you a quick story about him because he needs to be remembered all the time, not just on September 11th and forgotten on September 12th. You know, this is how we keep people strong in our memories, and you know, forgetting about people, I think, is such a tragedy. It's such a displacement of tribute and emotions that you really you're robbing yourself, you know? Okay, so it's not going to be a super sad story. It might have a moment or two. You know, let's face it, it was a little bit of a melancholy day. But George was an interesting guy. He was a young guy. He was, I think he was part Dominican and maybe a little Italian. And, oh, God, there was a lot going on there in George. Good looking. I mean, so gorgeous, right? Anyway, George is a little bit of a flirt, okay? And some people are just natural flirts. I get called a flirt all the time. Now, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I guess it depends on what side of the flirtation you happen to be on that day. But for the most part, I'm not offended when somebody calls me flirty. I'm offended if they call me snotty or pretentious because I don't think there's a whole lot of room for me in the whole pretentious world. I mean, I'd rather have dogs and diamonds any day. So, but anyway, George was an interesting creature. He really was. And he was just naturally a flirty guy. And my brother's station was right in the heart of Harlem, which is just, all rebuilt and renewed, and a lot of new construction and everything going on there. And it was very neighborhoodish. And he would always have these young, pretty, beautiful women. I mean, in New York, it's not enough just to be beautiful. You got to be beautiful, and you got to be smart, and you've got to have money, and you got to have your crap together. You know what I mean? You're in New York, You're in New York. Okay, enough with this singing. I know. I'm only on one cup of coffee, so I'm probably not really going to be very. More like hearing Fran Drescher sing. I mean, I can't do it. I'm one sinus infection away from being her voice double. I mean, really. My mornings are rough. My voice doesn't even wake up until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. How about you guys? Are you late? Are you late wakers or are you early wakers? Uh, mm, quick swig of the morning sludge. Okay. Um, Let me try to make a long story short. This is for anybody who knows me. Can she do that? Is that like in her realm of like can is she capable, I am capable. I'm capable of making a long story a little less long. But what are you going to do? Anyway, sometimes stories need all the feelings. They need all the words. We were talking about movies last night. Last night, you guys, just let me defer for a moment. I got to get this out of my system before my 2-second ADD brain forgets it. Last night, I was supposed to stream. I was supposed to come in at 6 o'clock, and I was running late because, in case anybody doesn't know, I am a huge New York Yankee fan. I mean, and baseball is really kind of a thing for me. So last night, now does anybody remember the movie Field of Dreams? Really old movie, but if you are a boy or you have a boy, you've given birth to a boy, you might have to know it because it really is the ultimate father and son little movie that could. It was like the little choo-choo that could, and it did, and it's really old. You have to go see it. Just Google it. It's probably free somewhere. Anyway, the Field of Dreams, it brought on that whole iconic line, if you build it, they will come. And what are you talking about? If you build the baseball field, they will come. So, anyway, they had the baseball field that they used for the movie set. Last night, they did a baseball game that I will probably have to grin if anybody ever brings it up for a really long time. Now, I know you could probably not baseball fans. You may or may not be. I don't know. But even if you're not, it's such a cute story. And it just happened last night. They had the A9 Gatlin planes, these old airplanes that everybody wants to kill, but apparently they just won't die. And they had them flying over the field. Instead of jets, they did old airplanes. And they had all the guys in the old-fashioned retro kind of uniforms, like the old pinstripe White Sox. And then they had, the Yankees had their grays. And instead of coming out from the dugout to do the formation that they do on the baseball diamond, they came out from the cornfield. Oh, it was so cute. It was so sweet. And it was so like, oh my God, this is so iconic and so nostalgic. Anyway, so the whole field opened up. They had old-fashioned boiled peanuts and pretzels and hot dogs. No fancy food. They kept it really easy. Lemonade and root beer, and just wanted to honor the history of the movie and the sport of baseball. And so, oh, and they had that girl from American Idol who nobody seems to know about her, because I think it was a season that everybody said, I'm really done with this. I think I'm going to take the season off. And they weren't offended by it. They're like, okay, bye. But she's really, really good. She sang the Star Spangled Banner, and they all came out from the corn, and it was just beautiful. It was just beautiful. Kevin Costner was there. He's the guy who was in the movie. And if you knew Kevin Costner back in the day, when Kevin Costner was Kevin Costner, you would be like, oh my God, he's so cute. He was quite a heartthrob. He really was. He was in that whole realm with, Matt Selleck, and, the younger actors that are now older actors. I don't know how that happened. I really don't. I felt like I just kind of went to sleep and woke up and everybody was old. I mean, I guess life will definitely take a ride on you if you don't pay attention. Anyway, okay, so it was a great baseball game, and if you get a chance to play it back and watch it, just watch the first 15 minutes. Even if you don't like baseball, you will be so emotionally moved. It was very Americana, very, very lovely, very lovely. And so, anyway, we're back to New York now. So George was one of the first ones in, and George was a sweet guy. He was really, but what George really loved to do, he loved two things. He loved motorcycles and he loved chicks with dogs. And I don't know if he really liked the chicks as much as he liked the dogs, but he was kind of a dog lover. And he was a little bit quirky and awkward, kind of like that weird guy you meet. He's not weird, he's just shy, but you could take him for weird if you weren't paying attention. And hang on one second, I have to use a brain cell here. Anyway, they say this is such a brainful fun activity. I'm like, oh my God, 107,000 drills. Somebody's got to pay attention, okay? Anybody ever says what you do is just stupid and mental, just tell you, well, here's 107,000 drills. Make them all go in the right place at the right time. And make them not look crappy. So there. Anyway, George really liked girls. He really did. He liked girls, but he loved dogs. And he got smart one day. He loved two things. He had motorcycles and he loved dogs. And he was busted ass flat broke. So he had this old motorcycle in the back of the firehouse. Now, the thing about being at that particular engine, which was 33 at the time, was that you just really, the cool thing about it is if you work there, you kind of always had a place to park. Parking in New York is a unicorn, okay? I mean, really, you can drop a mortgage payment parking a car. It costs a fortune. A car really and truly is a luxury in New York, and especially in the city. I mean, why would you bother having one? But anyway, George, he liked dogs and he liked girls. And so he said, how am I going to get to meet these girls? Because they would walk by him in the firehouse and go, oh, you. They were like, it wasn't that he wasn't good looking. She said, New York girls, they're tough. okay? And they're smart and they take no crap from nobody. I mean, everybody looks at the Jennifer Lopez kind of girl. Well, that's kind of like every girl in New York. I mean, the wonderful thing about her is that she's so uncommonly common. And that's how you have to grow up in that city. You gotta have your wits about you. Well, they all had little dogs, and the women would come by with the little dogs, and he always had a pocket full of little dog biscuits and dog treats. And he would always offer a little biscuit. Hey, can I give your dog a nice little biscuit here? I just thought, he's so cute. And he would bend down and give the dog a biscuit. And the dog, of course, any dog for a biscuit is like, hey, how you doing? You know? And of course, women would just melt at the knees for this. I mean, if you're a dog girl and let's put it this way, okay? If you're a mamaholic, there are mamaholics out there who are, vicariously living through their children. We all did it. We all know what it's like. And we all know that at some point you got to get over that. Anyway, if you're a dog girl, nobody's going to tell you, okay, you know what? You got too many dogs. This is over. You got to get over it. Nobody would ever dare. So, these women were like, oh, you're so nice. How nice of you to get my dog. Isn't it nice? Oh, Coco loves the treat. And it opened a little window for him to introduce himself and say hello and that kind of thing. So he kind of got a little call name, and his call name was Biscuit. Now, I have never been departmental. Departmental firefighters and volunteer firefighters, usually volunteer firefighters are pretty much kind of like a wad of gum stuck in the ridge of their boot. Um, and that's, for departmental firefighters, they think, well, I'm not doing this for fun. I get paid for this. And it's like, we're not doing it for fun either. We're just not getting paid because, I mean, we're doing it for the love and the calling. And the calling is a real thing. The calling is a real thing. People get called all the time, to do this particular service in life. And you have a choice. You can do one of two things. You can answer the call or ignore it. But anyway, so George loved this. George loved dogs. He did. And the dogs were so sweet. And, having a cute girl attached to the leash didn't hurt either. But he was a dog guy. Okay. Now, you can Google this all you want. There's probably, 8 million pictures of his motorcycle because what they did after we lost George, because George ran into the buildings came down, we lost George. But after a few weeks, the city, our poor wounded city, started coming back to life a little bit. And people were trying to get back into their houses, and cleaning crews were coming and going, and, trying to, clean up and get all of the debris out of the apartments so that people could move back in. And a lot of the residents, started trying to move on with their life. And I don't mean it in a dismissive way. I'm just saying, this is their home, okay? New York may be a big tourist city to other people, but to people who live there, these are neighborhoods. They're not boroughs. They are neighborhoods where people live, and they have the same neighbors for 2 and 3 and 4 generations. And, they just don't want to give that up very easily. So, anyway, some of the girls started coming back and they would walk the dog because walking their dogs right past the firehouse was just sort of, part of their routine and their day. And the dogs would stop when they got to the firehouse. And it was a habit, it was just, the dogs were just like, where's George? Where's my biscuit? And they would look for him. Anyway, they found this crusty old motorcycle, and it just sat there for months and months. And then finally, a group, I can't remember their name. Please forgive me. It's really early in the morning. A group got together, and they pimped out that bike. Oh my God. You guys, you got to go see it. It's online. They did such a paint job on that bike, and really did such a beautiful, beautiful job on that bike that I was like, now, I mean, I don't even know if they're going to ride it. It's like, oh my gosh. Wait a minute, I'm not here yet. I need to, maybe I could do just the top and then come back. Okay. Do you see how I get with these diamond paintings? They're just so pickle sometimes. Anyway, so that was his story. He was a dog guy. He loved dogs. My brother Joe is not a dog guy. He's afraid of dogs. He's afraid of my dogs. I've seen him, try to reach out to them. I mean, Lucy was the one that he really liked because she was very aware that he wasn't comfortable with dogs. And she would just sit, and wait for him to reach out to her. And she wasn't the kind of dog who would jump up on you or lick you. She wasn't aggressive in any way. And I think that's why he did like her a little bit. But anyway, so yeah, that is why George has his name George. Besides, I don't know anybody, I don't think there's anybody that I know that is a George, aka George Clooney, aka, I mean, is there anybody named George that's not like a super nice guy? Nobody knows a George that they're just like, oh, I can't stand that guy. I mean, Georges are usually pretty cool. So I was very, very honored to give him that name. And when I saw him, even though he was just this little tiny runt of a puppy, I saw the eyes and I knew. I was like, this is a man whore. This dog is nothing but trouble. He's like Fabio with fur. I mean, he's like, oh my God, I'm going to have nothing but trouble with this dog. And he is, to this day. He's a woman chaser. He's got an issue. I don't know if I should send him to some kind of counseling or what, but he's just got a thing for women. He'll walk right by a guy who's with a girl. Hi, hello, mate. How you doing? How you doing? And he's like, hello, you. How are you? Boy, those are nice looking shoes. I bet we could just chew those up at any given moment. He's trouble. He's nothing but trouble. So, and he doesn't do it for food. He really is. I've never seen a dog that literally lives for affection, but he does. He's funny like that, and he's my baby, and I love him. He really is adorable in his own terribly obnoxious, flirty-gurty kind of way. So that's George. Anyway, I'm going to let you go. My streams have been running so long lately. can't believe, I cannot believe we just ran 25 minutes. But, you know, hey, if it makes your day a little bit happier or a little bit funnier, or if it just helps you burn a little time, I am glad to provide the service. By all means, it's the least I can do. Anyway, listen, you guys, I'm going to continue on my new New York. These are the new buildings in New York. And when she's finished, and I'm hoping to get her done this weekend because she's moving along so fast. This has not been anything of work. It's been, I mean, color blocking. I love the color. I'm usually not opposed to confetti. I'm not a confetti hater. And seeing that I got the mask delivered to my door, and you know what that means? That means another little empty gesture, stupid vision in my head now has to come to fruition. I got to do it now. I got to do the whole thing. And so, game on. But as soon as I get her done, and I might take a couple of days off just to do some framing. I haven't really decided. August is such a ick month for me. I mean, oh my gosh. I'm just so, all I want to do is kind of lay in bed and goof off and just, survive till September. Oh, you guys, there's a new Hulu show on. It's called something with Nicole Kidman. It's supposed to be really, really good. I'm Melissa McCarthy. It's like 9 Perfect People or something. And so you're going to have to watch it. I did watch American Horror Story the other night with long-suffering husband, who talked me into it because it was supposed to be about Santa. By the way, in case we haven't met yet, my husband and I do Santa and Mrs. Claus every year. We've been doing it for about 12 years now. And so I was like, this can't be Santa the psychopath. But he forced me into it. I never watch scary stuff. I suck at it. I can't even get through the advertisements for some scary movies. I'm really not that girl. Anyway, he's like, come on, sweetheart. I was like, all right, just quit whining. I'll sit through it with you. But if it gets really bad, I'm leaving the room. He's like, I know. You can go diamond paint or go hide with the dog. I was like, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take a bucket of greasy popcorn and throw it right at the TV. Anyway, he was like, well, let's just watch it. And the first 5 minutes, the 4 primary actors, that's it. I want them all to be dead. And spoiler alert, they're all dead at the end. I mean, we keep thinking somebody's going to make it, but then no. And it's really kind of a don't be naughty to Santa. And don't tell people that there is no real Santa, because the real Santa, he might just get pissed off. Anyway, it was worth watching. It was kind of funny. And it kind of made a lot of fun of the whole YouTube people. And I'm not talking about us just hanging out. I'm talking about the YouTubers who are like, I need 5 million. I need 5 million. I need 5, Cutie Pie and these it can be such a monster, YouTube can become that, that that needy child. Every time you make a step forward, it kind of feels like it wants more sometimes. So it makes fun of that, and I think that's hilarious. because I really don't. I don't want to take myself that seriously. I mean, yeah, a play button would be great. And you know what my son said? I couldn't believe this, you guys. Uh, Give a shout out to the brat who said, "You're not a real YouTuber till you have a play button." I don't even. I had to actually ask him what a play button is. Anyway, so all I need are 700 more friends to get to 1,000, and then a few more from there to get to 100,000, which, to me is like, you guys really, you know, having the numbers is great. Selling your soul for the numbers, might want to rethink it. On that note, I will leave you. Have a great, great day. Um, do all the good things, like and subscribe, make good choices, and for all intents and purposes, please shine on. Really, find a place where you shine in the sun and shine on because you're all diamonds. I love you. Have a great day. Bye.